Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Reza Zulfikar with name 196. Will explain about Islamization of knowledge, ontology, epistemology, axiology, and integration. Next, about background. After the separation of knowledge in the West from the doctrine of the Kurds and the weakening of Islamic civilization following the Golden Age, together with the influx of Western culture into Arab lands, many people around the world came to accept general separation between religious concepts and worldly affairs. Responding to this situation, religious scholars and experts have worked to combine modern knowledge with Islamic concepts, because Islam do not teach only ritual worship but also address the full range of human life principle. Next is theoretical review. The term Islamization can be understood as an effort to shape research and scholarship so that knowledge is not treated as morally neutral in the way many global scientific norms assume. This do not mean rejecting modern science, rather it means bringing Islamic understanding of the divine together with the human reason and experience. In other words, Islamization seeks to ensure that the purpose of knowledge serve human well-being while keeping scientific method and research engaged in a framework informed by revelation and technique. Next is the dichotomy of knowledge. The European reaction against Kurds doctrine and later colonialism helped create a division between religious and secular ways of understanding human life. In our paper, we describe several models of Islamization. The purification model attempts to remove cultural or ideological elements inconsistent with Islam. The Islamic modernization model adapts to modern science and technology while maintaining religious principles and rules. The new modernist approach aims for balance, using sacred texts and ijtihad to address contemporary human problems. Next is ontological dimension. For Islam, Ismail al-Faruqi, Tawhid is not simply the belief that God is one, it is a comprehensive way of seeing life. In the context of research and knowledge, Tawhid can be used to search for the meaning and purpose behind events in the universe. Knowledge guided by Tawhid does not merely seek maximum benefit for a particular group but asks about broader consequence and the common good. In short, Tawhid reorients the inquiry towards purpose and ethical accountability, not just instrumental gain. Next is epistemological dimension. As re-articulated by Al-Faruqi, the Quran and Hadith occupy the highest position in studying and doing research because they come directly from Allah and are in this view the source of all true knowledge. At the same time, the reason play a critical role. Scholars use the intellect to study revealed text deeply and to produce objective answers to human's problem. Ibn Rushd and Ibn Taymiyyah did not forbid scientific experiments, rather they insist that empirical inquiry should not overturn or sever the authority of revealed texts where the Quran gives definitive guidance. Next is axiological dimension. When we ask about the purpose of knowledge, Islam sees inquiry as inherently teleological. It is pursued for the welfare of humanity at large, not as a morally neutral enterprise. Modern research and education often operate under ethical framework created by human convention and therefore conceived with time and place. Muslim scholars therefore argue for integrating scientific knowledge with Islamic principles grounded in revelation, which are fixed in their core and oriented toward the public good. The goal is knowledge. The goal is knowledge that serves human welfare consistently, rather than knowledge whose ethical orientation changes according to temporary human preference. Next is model of integration and implementation. In education, implementing this model trains students to learn not only the how, the mechanism, and method that explain how things happen, but also the why. This approach instills from the start the idea that the purpose of studying knowledge in Islam is to serve humans as Khalifa and to care for creation. It also accepts that there are dimensions of reality not directly accessible to the sense, such as the concept of the soul or divine reality, and that these should not be excluded from future research or teaching simply because they are not empirically measurable. Next is concept and method of Islamization. Said Said Hussein Nasr proposed the idea of an Islamic science that integrates ethics, cosmology, and a Tawhid-based worldview into scientific inquiry. Thinkers like Ismail Raji Al-Faruqi and Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman developed more systematic readings of academic disciplines so that they can enrich Islamic understanding and produce genuine public benefit. Islamization aims to restore the moral and spiritual dimension that modern science often overlooks because modern approaches tend to focus only on what the sense can measure and ignore spiritual and revelational dimensions. Al-Atas emphasized that Islamization cannot be achieved by merely attaching Islamic labels to secular knowledge. Rather, it requires separating out cultural and ideological elements incompatible with the Islamic worldview and organically infusing the disciplines with genuinely Islamic value. Next is challenge and direction. Al-Faruq approach possesses specific challenge. Muslim scholars need dual competence, mastery of modern scientific method, and deep familiarity with the interpretation of revelation. Islamization can only be realized through a reconstruction of the structure of modern disciplines so that they align with Islamic worldview. This does not mean eliminating distinction between religious and secular knowledge. Instead, it means combining both in a way that preserves methodological rigor while integrating ethical and theological orientation. And last conclusion, Tawhid is used as a guiding principle to fill the conceptual gaps in modern knowledge that arose after the historical process of dividing disciplines. The focus shifts to asking why a study or research project is being done, not only how it is done. Islamization of knowledge does not prohibit modern scientific research, nor does it aim to replace it entirely with revelation on the study. Instead, it seeks to integrate Islamic perspective into general disciplines so that learning and research benefit the broader public and serve both worldly welfare and spiritual integrity. Yes, that's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.